A few weeks ago, a storm rolled through my area, leaving behind a mess of broken branches and scattered limbs in my yard. One particular tree in the back had taken quite a beating, dropping a tangle of leaves and branches all over my garden. It was the perfect opportunity to put the Yeryork 15-amp electric wood chipper to the test. When the wood chipper arrived, I was pleasantly surprised at how well it was packaged. Everything was snug and secure inside the box, with clear labeling all over the components. Unpacking it was straightforward, and within a few minutes, I had all the parts laid out in front of me. The instructions were clear and easy to follow, so I set to work putting it together. Assembly turned out to be much easier than I expected. I attached the dual feed chutes, secured the collection bag, and snapped the 7-inch wheels into place without needing any complicated tools. In less than 10 minutes, I was standing in front of a fully assembled wood chipper, ready to get to work. I grabbed my safety glasses and work gloves, rolled the chipper over to the pile of branches, and plugged it in. First impression, this thing is lightweight and super easy to move. I was able to maneuver it over the uneven ground on my yard without much effort. Compared to the gas-powered models that weigh a ton, this one felt incredibly manageable. Not all of the branches from the storm were the perfect size to fit into the hopper, so I had to do a little bit of prep work. For thicker limbs that exceeded the 1.8-inch limit, I used my garden trimmers to cut them down into manageable chunks. This made feeding them into the hopper much easier and kept the motor from straining too hard. As I fed branches into the hopper, I noticed that anything under an inch in diameter shredded very easily. The SK5 blades chopped through them cleanly and precisely, creating fine mulch-like material. Occasionally, a branch wouldn't push through completely on its own, so I used the included pusher to safely guide it through. This feature made the process much smoother and ensured I wasn't sticking my hands anywhere near the blades, of course. One thing I quickly learned was that the chipper performed best when branches were straight and dry. Curved or freshly cut green branches tended to resist the blades a little more, which sometimes required me to trim them down even further before feeding them in. I also found that feeding too many branches at once could slow things down. A steady pace worked best, giving the motor time to process each piece efficiently without overloading it. The anti-jamming feature worked well. On the rare occasion when a slightly thicker or knotted branch caused a slowdown, I simply gave the chipper a moment to reset before continuing. As long as I didn't rush and kept feeding branches at a steady pace, it performed like a champ. Another impressive feature was how controlled the discharge was. Instead of spraying wood chips everywhere, the chipper directed them neatly into the collection bag. This made cleanup easier and prevented stray wood from ending up all over my yard. The fine texture of the chip material also made it easier to handle and use for composting and mulching. One thing I really appreciated was how quiet it was compared to gas-powered models I've used in the past. Of course, it's not silent. You wouldn't expect that from a machine designed to shred wood, but it was definitely quieter than I expected. I didn't feel like I was disturbing the entire neighborhood while getting my yard back in shape. As the collection bag started to fill up, I realized I had an unexpected bonus: freshly chopped wood that I could use in my garden. Instead of hauling the chips off to the waste bin, I decided to put them to good use. I mixed some of the chips into my compost bin to help balance out the moisture levels and keep odors in check. The extra carbon-rich material helped prevent the pile from becoming too soggy, and within a few days I noticed the compost breaking down more efficiently. The rest of the chips went into the garden beds as mulch to suppress weeds and retain soil moisture. I also spread some along my pathways to help prevent muddy spots after heavy rain. After putting this wood chipper through a full cleanup session, I can confidently say it's a solid option for homeowners dealing with small to medium-sized yard debris. It's easy to assemble, lightweight, and efficient at chipping branches up to an inch in diameter. While I wouldn't expect it to handle thick or really large branches or logs like an industrial-grade model, for everyday yard maintenance, it gets the job done without the hassle of gas or extensive maintenance. The ability to repurpose wood chips for composting and mulching was an unexpected and welcome bonus. It's always a win when you can turn what you would have thrown away into something beneficial for the garden. Whether you're using the chips to balance compost, control weeds, or even improve footpaths, the chipper makes yard cleanup more efficient and rewarding. Would I recommend it? I think so. If you're looking for an easy-to-use, environmentally friendly way to deal with branches and yard debris, this chipper is worth considering.